Hello, I'm Jonathan, the giant sentient microwave with the zombie inside. If you like the Dirt Block, you should totally check out the bonus podcast over at humanechoes.com. It's an hour of hilarity and insight with Joe, Al, and Tony. To find out how you can get access to this and other awesome bonus content, go to humanechoes.com and click Become a Member.
Man, I'm getting some real good advice from the Minecraft title screen right now. I've got the first part down.
Don't
The
dig
second
down.
part I'm working on. It says throw yourself at the ground and miss. It's a Douglas Adams joke.
Yeah, it's like the fourth book, something like that. Whenever he becomes the sandwich artist and things start getting really weird.
Really weird. Although I think
In the
that line,
fifth book, he becomes a sandwich artist.
that line appears earlier though. I think an alien mentions it, but they never actually do it. And then
I had
Okay.
3 more dirt blocks to lay before the end of that previous dirt block.
You're the one who called it.
I did. We had to get away from that sensitive Doug issue.
Well, at least you can say you've laid dirt on this episode if you never get back to the dirt block.
That's
There's a
true.
distinct possibility that won't happen.
I'm putting a link into this will really help no one and really confuse people. But I've now sent over Skype a link to Doug in real life.
Yeah, I have the Twitter video I could watch, Joe, but that's not going to help me now on the dirt block.
Also,
You
I
want us
don't
to
know.
all
There's
stop
nothing
it?
else to explain. It's Doug in real life, and it's really funny and cute.
How
and
does he
I loved
talk?
it. With the thing around his neck.
That's not real. Dogs don't have consciousness like that. They don't think English words.
How do you know you've never been a dog?
Exactly. You didn't invent the necklace. I actually was sort of wondering whether they just let him because the people are. It's interesting. I was curious to know how they did the editing. Because the people are talking to him in the video. He's interacting with people as if he's. Oh, there's a creeper. As if they can hear his necklace, so they can't have just have audio dubbed it over afterwards.
They couldn't have just been acting.
No, it's like there's a 2-year-old that responds to him.
2-year-olds can act.
It's clearly, I think they had what they did was they just had a crappy version come out through the speaker on the necklace first, the collar, and then redubbed the lines. would be
Here's
my
the
guess.
question. Is it the actual voice of Doug?
That's a good question, actually. I don't know. I don't know who.
I mean, does it sound like...
oh, spot
because
on. Yes.
Okay.
With all of the mannerisms and everything. It's really adorable and had me chuckling and smiling all day yesterday.
That voice is really, I don't want to say hard to do, but like it's oddly specific. When you have a voice like that that's sort of wrong in a particular way,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Oh, no. He's got, all the cadences up and down that are incorrect and there's a cone of shame in there. One of the dogs, I do not like the cone of shame.
Oh, there are multiple ones?
Well, it's a clip segment. He's just sort of, they let
I
him
know,
loose
I'm
in a
just
park.
saying, like, was it just Doug, or do they have, like, the Rottweilers as well?
Well, at one point he's talking. Oh, no. It's just Doug talking to another dog he sees at the park.
Oh, okay.
But mostly it's interactions with humans.
It's making me realize I've
that's
never
real, Joe.
watched Up.
Oh, so good.
Oh, man, we just spoiled it for you. There's a dog who talks with a collar.
Well,
now.
I've
Yeah.
seen the trailer.
The guy puts balloons on his house, Tony. And he floats.
I saw the first 10 minutes where it's all sad.
Yeah, and then you
Why
didn't
did you
watch
stop?
the rest?
I didn't
You're
have
like,
time.
well, I'm good.
That's horrible. It's like in Friends when Phoebe only watches. No, what is it?
She
Oh,
only
Phoebe's
watched-
mom always stopped like sad movies early.
So it's
like
the
Woody
opposite
Yeller,
of
She never
that.
knew the dog died, and
Oh,
She
I
never
thought
knew
you were going
Rocky
the other
Lost.
direction, like the guy who edited the end of Toy Story just to end with him going in the trash.
well, that's the thing. Then she watches all of her childhood favorites. Is like, these are all terribly sad, and someone's like, well, try watching this movie called It's a Wonderful Life. But then she shuts that off early because it's too sad. And she's just like, it's just a bunch of pharmacists poisoning kids and this guy killing himself. What are you thinking? So that's sort of what Tony did. He watched
That's a
the sad
depressing
part.
movie.
See. Thing is, he goes up.
That's where they get the name of the movie from.
Yeah.
Wait, no, we're spoiling it. Let's lead him astray. He
Not
goes
30
down.
years old yet.
He does go down at the end.
Shh.
An amazing ending where the dogs are flying planes. They kind of, you feel like they went off the rails a little bit with the end of Up?
I think it's a freaking house being floated around the world in balloons and a talking dog. I really don't think there's an edge to go off of.
They weren't on rails to begin with?
Yes.
I'm talking about, like, from a storytelling perspective, not from a it doesn't make logical sense perspective.
I think it worked. Well, okay. First off, I have to say I've only seen it once, and I actually don't remember. I remember how sad and well done the beginning is, and then like that I was like, oh, actually that got happy at the end, and the basics, but I don't remember too much about it, so I can't really.
So that was actually the point that I was reading somebody making about Up, is that, like, nobody actually talks about the end of Up.
Right.
Everybody's like, oh man, what a great ending. Like, they talk about Up being a great movie, and they talk about the beginning, but nobody was like, man, when those dogs were holding on to those bones so they could pilot that plane and shooting at the other dogs, that was the best.
I thought you made that up. I honestly don't remember that.
There's dogs flying planes at the end.
It's the pit bulls, right?
Several different breeds, but yes.
Well, the angry
I don't think
dogs.
it's just the one plane. Kind of goes like all Sopwith Camel, Snoopy, and the Red Baron
Yeah.
type thing.
I
I
can
think it does stick the landing though with the
Yeah, that's
like
the
the
important.
very end.
Everything
And I
that
won't
happened.
spoil that.
Yes, agreed. I think that that ending I remember, and I was like, this is actually really sweet, and this is a great movie.
And that song, that like riff that they play, the Ellie's song, dee 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 dee, dee 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 dee,
That's okay. Yes.
Today on the acapella block.
dee 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 dee.
Written by
So
Chopin.
great, I love that. Like, and they'll play it upbeat, da dun da dun, ba dum ba dum, ba dum ba dum, ba da 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 da, and you're like, yeah, this is great, swinging, sort of like has that 50s feel to it, you know? They'll put like that little, and then like you'll get to the end and it's just like the one piano playing, ding ding.
Yes.
ding, ding.
The movie has a score.
Yeah, but
It's a well done score. It's a well done.
it's a
movie.
beautiful score. You can't always sing the score to a movie anymore.
You can.
I saw there was a whole
I never could, but yes.
I mean, it's
Outside
like,
of, like, Jaws and Jurassic Park.
like I don't know. I could sing the score to the old Avengers, the new Avengers. I can't sing any of the songs. The new like.
They break into
Score.
Well, we're heroes and we're fighting.
Just
but I
imagining
read
like all the little asides when they're introducing characters about like Hulk go smash and all this in tune.
That'd be amazing. Oh, go smash.
Have you guys seen the Every Frame of a Painting about film scores and temp scores and how that sort of affects things?
No.
So Tony Zhu, guy on Twitter and other on YouTube, has a series called Every Frame of a Painting, where he just kind of, I mean, he takes a long time to put them together, and it's just like a film, like a 10-minute to 5-minute essay about some aspect of filmmaking or a filmmaker that he really loves or something. And his most recent one was about film scores.
God, my
And-
diamond shovel broke. Crap.
He talked about how that today movies are being scored a lot with temp music, and that kind of leads to not a lot of originality in the scores.
What's temp music?
Temp music is basically you take a score from another movie and put it in as you're editing, and then later on you go to your composer and be like, all right, we want it to kind of sound like this, because we've already edited the movie to this, and you're the last guy in the chain, so boy, I hope you can make it sound like that, but not exactly like that, because that would be copyright infringement. Zack Snyder in 300.
Like Jaws. That sound like this. Dun on. I was like, I don't. That's
I've seen movie soundtracks that do that.
interesting. Okay, but understood. You're not a joke.
Anyway, there was a great response video that he actually retweeted a lot. And he was like, "Guys, this guy's a really great point." Where the guy said, "Listen, movie temp soundtracks have been around forever. Essentially, it's not the temp soundtrack that's the problem. It's the fact that everybody. First of all, he talked about how the age of electronic composition and music led to one particular style of music being favored because there were certain instruments that sounded much better on like a synthesizer than in real life. And so a lot of movie scores now are very percussive, whereas before, and they're also sort of all like cannibalizing off of each other, whereas before movie scores were a lot different and they would still cannibalize off each other or off of like classical music. But because there was such a much wider range, rather than just all the blockbusters looking at all the other blockbusters and saying, let's have a score like that. And that's a lot of reason why he not called out, but mentioned Hans Zimmer in particular as sort of like one of the reasons that's the case now, because Hans Zimmer, the way he writes his music is he plays every note. Like there's not an orchestra generally playing Hans Zimmer's scores. He just like sits down at the keyboard and like plucks out like, all right, we're gonna have this theme, and then he like layers in a different theme, and where it's not like the same kind of composition you would have from somebody like John Williams or a classical composer. So you get much narrower types of music.
Yep.
Okay, sorry, that was all. I guess I went on for
some of that
Nobody cared.
maybe fell on some deaf ears here, but in general, yes.
I found it interesting.
I
I'm
know,
sorry.
I know you
I'll
did.
stop
It's a mix
talking
of
about it.
music and movies. Of course you found it interesting. I just was trying to fend off things and build stuff. And
Yeah, that was kind of a rough night. As Al's in the middle of that, I'm fighting off like 14 zombies and
Cutting
2.
back. Maybe I'll have a soundtrack in there. I'll like use some YouTube music. Boom, boom. That's obviously the Dark Knight soundtrack. I can't use that, but
that wasn't obvious at all, but okay. You're saying
that's
two
the Dark Knight
notes.
soundtrack. That's just those 2 notes. Boom, boom, and then like boom, 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 boom.
Careful. We're going to get copyright infringement.
As totally flagged.
Yeah. You also have the Superman soundtrack is basically the same thing, but like not in a minor key.
Sure.
Bum, 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 bum.
I think that's my favorite when he does the drums.
Now do the Wonder Woman one. Actually, really dig the Wonder Woman one.
I'm trying to think of what the actual the melodic line is there, and I'm drawing a blank real quick.
Okay, now do Freebird.
I don't know Freebird.
That's very disappointing, Al.
I know like the beginning of it. I was as free as a bird tonight, like from Guitar Hero, but I didn't play it often enough to.
You never got past the beginning.
Yes.
It's a long song. It's a real long song.
Yeah, it is.
Like what part of Freebird? What part of the 10 minutes of Freebird did you want me to sing, Joe?
That's just a go-to joke. That's always something people scream at concerts. It was a heavily requested song at the time, and it sort of became a running gag to just scream that out at concerts.
Oh, I know that. I know that because of Cars, actually. I didn't know
Oh.
because of the song. There's the scene in Cars where Lightning
George
McQueen
Carlin?
gets up in front of the Rusty's people, and like there's a really long silence because he doesn't want to be there, and somebody's like, Freebird! I didn't get it. I had to look it up. I was like, oh, that's a funny joke, so now I'll do it.
That's even in like King of the Hill. Like he gets really drunk in Dallas, and he's like he's trying to get this punk band to play Freebird.
Come on, play Freebird. Yeah, it was a lot of people's quote-unquote anthem, and for some reason that's the one. I mean, everyone's... During rock and roll concerts, there's plenty of that sort of passionate plea for a song that people believe is their personal anthem, but for some reason Freebird is the one that became the running joke. Yeah.
Play the Gambler.
Oh, another Enderman.
Yeah.
Man, did you guys see that
Doesn't work quite as
in
well.
the build the other week when that Enderman spawned in directly in front of me?
The other week. Are you saying the other week to the
Yes.
audience or to us?
Yep.
Yes.
Trying to
Well, no, I
maintain the
heard you.
illusion.
I was across the room somewhere, and I heard you screaming bloody murder. And I was like, what just happened? And yes, you saw an Enderman. It was really something.
I was very sensitive that night, so there was a bug in my room.
That was weird. I
Which
thought
I
the
freaked
bug had
out
done
about.
something, to be honest. I wanted more
Huh?
on that bug plot line.
Well, I'm sorry he didn't come back. I think I got him somehow. Anyway, and then like later after I stopped recording, there was a lizard in my
that's
kitchen, and I
just
went
weird.
like, "Ah!" about that too.
That's worthy of blah. The Enderman. Okay, so the Enderman was you were like panning right, and he all of a sudden was like, "Hello," and you were like, "Ah!" It was a little startling, but you like, woo. Yeah, or possibly a little on edge because of the bug, which again, kind of a plot line that didn't go anywhere.
So I tried. He didn't keep up his end of the bargain.
Yeah. You hit him with a bag
There's
of
only
chips.
so much I can do.
When you hit him with that, did you say that was all that and a bag of chips?
No, I did not.
Oh, come on! God, it's like you're not even treating your life like an action movie.
I'm not.
What
You're
would
right.
the poor asylum version of that be? Wow, I crushed
No,
it.
that would be like the poor asylum version of that would be. I just killed that bug. Because like they can't do an action one-liner.
I mean, you gotta at least like yell out, "It's crunch time" or something like that.
Naganitsu no
Why did Lion King? Oh, the sunrise.
Yeah.
It's a lion. It's a lion.
Here comes a lion.
Lyrics for an age. That was totally worth the Google.
Did you guys see Richie's video last week about like different types of zombie-proof doors?
I did not. I saw the one about the update with like the llamas and all sorts of other cool stuff coming. And like these
Like a really
crazy
fascinating
haunted mansions.
Look like if you have side-by-side fence posts, zombies think it's a full block, but you can walk around it. There's like pits that you can put down that you can walk over that zombies will fall into.
That
Seemed
would
like
help.
some cool stuff that we could maybe implement on the Dort Bork.
Why
somehow.
we have this perfectly unsafe. Someone will just mess it up anyways. My point.
That's probably true. I just want to experiment, honestly. I think that'd be
Joe,
cool.
I would. That was gonna be close.
Maybe
What?
I could. Maybe
I was
could
waiting
actually
for you to
come in
walk
and-
through to see what would happen if I blew up these thermonuclear things.
You're such a dick.
maybe
You
I could
know what
actually play
happens.
Minecraft in my spare
Yeah,
time.
I should probably do that with Al instead of you because
The outcome
his
is not
gear
gonna
is
be
more
different.
sacrificial.
I don't have my fortune pickaxe, so technically it's all fair game. But oh, I see the sign now. I see the sign. And it opened up my
I
mind.
saw the sun. I saw the sun.
I think you're singing different songs there.
It happens all the time. It's ridiculous. On Dwarf Fortress.
What song was? What do you mean different songs?
Well,
He's
you-
talking about like
different-
a '90s pop song, and
Yeah,
you're
we're singing
talking
Ace of Base.
what sounds like gospel, but I can't tell.
Yes, I think also the name of the movie about Tom Hanks was named after it.
Road to
Sully?
I
Perdition.
saw the light.
Forrest Gump?
I saw the light.
Punchline? Splash?
Punchline.
Apollo 13?
Big. Sully.
I already did Sully. Drink.
What? Speaking of Sully, how are you doing on HSX this week, Joe?
I have nothing. I have no cash, so I can't do any big wagers. I'm just waiting on stuff to.
I got tired
I
of
feel
you
like-
guys giving me shit, so I invested like $3 million this week.
Good.
Oh, $3 million.
Welcome to the game.
Wait, no, you had that was what you had. That was every penny, right?
I still have like 400,000 left.
You have 35 mil.
That's not how math works, Al.
It's a lot. He has a lot.
Yeah, I think he plays those.
35,000,
You
right?
play those trivia games, right? Is that part of it?
I do that like if I remember to. So, but that's only like
trivia
10 to
games?
12,000 a day.
No, I guess not. So that's just pure cash. At any rate, because I'm pretty sure. Wow, this is gonna be like I think Deepwater Horizon is gonna cash out lower than what it's priced at, and I missed a huge because usually there's a rise as a movie's about to come out, and then the weekend decides it, and if it's high, if they exceed box office expectations, when they reset it to reflect that, all of a sudden there's a big dump or there's a drop. You don't ever get that that high price because people are like, oh boy, I won, I chose right, I need cash, and they sell. Likewise, if you're correct about it doing worse than box office expectations, it resets or recalibrates to lower than the price that it froze at over the weekend, and then everyone's like, oh boy, I guessed right, I need cash, and covers, and then the price goes up. Basically, if you're not in that first wave of cashing out, you can do okay, but I think I'll do better if I wait for the 4 weeks to cash out and get my actual real price for Deepwater Horizon and where it's going. So I'm just sitting on.
Are you long or short on Deepwater Horizon?
I was short on it, and it went down to like 41, but now it's at like 49.8 because then I was like, you know what? I just happened not to be on, around on Sunday to jump on that cover, and I'm not gonna lose $7 of difference just because take that because I need cash.
Yeah.
I don't need cash. I do like to bet on the weekends, but yeah.
It's gotta
So
be
I don't
like,
Just
actually-
I leveraged everything I could get into the box office warrants because those were big, and then I bought into some looked around for some dollar movies.
Yeah.
That, seemed like they could do okay, like some rom coms,
Mm-hmm.
coming out next year in the summer. I forget what one of them was called, but anyway, I figured this is probably gonna do more than $1 million in theaters, and I have the money to wager.
If it gets made,
Lose.
that's the big one with dollar movies.
Well, no, there's some of them that are already out, already finished filming, and they just gotta put it out.
yeah, they gotta get a distributor and so on.
Yeah, dollar stock.
This is
report.
probably
they
like
just,
the
like, they're
least
just-
interesting conversation we could ever have on the Dirt Block.
Yeah, I
People
was
who don't
debating
play HSX.
Well, I was thinking about the fact. So my wife was like, "So you're doing pretty well on HSX. Would you ever think about doing a real stock market?" And the major difference between HSX and the real stock market is that in HSX, at some point, the actual real value of the movie comes into play. Whereas in the real stock market, it's 99% just speculation.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of people guessing that that something is worth something, and if enough of them guess that it is, then it is. Is that not?
Well, reality
I
sets
mean-
in eventually. There's earnings reports and things of that nature. But you are correct. There's a quote. The stock market, you're not trying to pick the prettiest dog at the show. You're trying to pick the dog that everyone else believes is the prettiest dog at the show. Which is just
Yeah.
a weird... Yeah. You're not wrong entirely. But, I mean, it's not like it's completely unhinged unless there's unless there's a bubble or a crash going on.
But that's what I'm saying. Like a bubble. I guess ultimately it does come down to, okay, are you making money back and pay us some dividends? But
Or if you can sell it at a profit. You could have invested whatever it was, like October 19th, 1929 at the height, right before the biggest crash. You could have put all of your savings into there, and if you're retiring, 30 years later, you would have come out ahead of, or you would have had a perfectly fine retirement fund. In the long run, the stock market is not that volatile, but if you're in there like, buy, sell, it's,
no, but one day it'll crash, Joe, for real.
yes. We'll all be investing in shotguns.
And we'll get the whole solar flare thing,
Yes.
and none of our computers will work anymore. And we'll have to,
Well, that happened with Y2K. Remember that? And how we don't have computers now?
yeah.
Remember, I wasn't allowed to go anywhere on Y2K because my family was a little paranoid.
Oh, The Simpsons did a great version of that because they're like, everything has microchips now. And they were doing a Halloween episode, and they just when it hit, obviously for real, it hit in The Simpsons because it was a Halloween episode and Y2K came. But they had like cartons of milk shooting lasers at people, and like, just had like the most ridiculous, over the top Armageddon.
And like Krusty's pacemaker was going insane, like
Yes,
making
and
him
he was
fly.
Flying around like a hummingbird.
It was set to hummingbird.
That was one of the few times where I was like, I remember I would go over to my grandma's house and she was super worried about it. This is before it happened, and I was a dumb teenager at the time, but I wasn't that dumb because I was like, Grandma, this is not. These people who are writing these books are not telling you the truth.
But the hype ones. But the underlying concern was like you couldn't really argue against it. It's like, well, they did use 2 digits to do the dates, and now that's going to reset to 00, and that. I certainly am not enough of a programmer to be like, that's clearly not going to do anything. I was enough of a person in reality to be like, that's probably not going to do anything. But that was the thing. There was that nagging, like, my computer just does weird shit sometimes. What's going to happen when this happens?
They also
I
spent
know,
a lot
but
of time fixing that too.
I wasn't saying that nothing was going to happen, although nothing did end up happening, really.
Yes.
But I was saying, like, not everything that could happen is not going to happen.
Yes. Okay. Fair enough.
All of the things that they say could go wrong are not all going to go wrong. Like, you're not. Somebody somewhere will have a record of the money in your bank account.
Mm-hmm.
Probably. The
Someone
ATMs
jotted
are
that
not just going
down?
to start shooting out 20s. That's not how any system ever works,
Except the movies. I have no arrows.
except in the movies.
Son of a...
Computers.
I mean, man, you saw Fight Club. Like that just reset everything.
I'm in.
Well, they do. I mean, that was a more realistic sort of. They were going after like backup servers and things.
Yeah,
and,
if you
like,
coordinated
physically
well enough.
destroying them.
Especially
But-
back then, it'd be a lot harder to do now. I'm sure there's backups all over the world instead of just like in
It
these.
still has to exist on a hard drive somewhere, though.
Yeah,
What are we talking about?
Just records and stuff in general, like what they do in Fight Club, where they blow
Fight
up the
Check.
record
I got it.
keeping.
I just didn't know what the pop culture in was there. I was coughing while Tony said it.
I think they do something similar in Mr. Robot as well, although I have not continued watching that show, so I couldn't speak definitively. But I know that there was a plot point, and that show is lauded as being relatively technologically accurate, where they're like, hey, here, they have this big server, it's got a lot of stuff, we're going to do kind of simultaneous attacks on multiple fronts and take it out. So I think it still could happen,
But again, I think that
arguably unlikely.
our data is stored in 4 different places at least. Possibly.
And who
if
knows
our-
what Dropbox does with it.
Yeah, if our separate Dropbox accounts are in separate servers, that doubles it. Like, there's a lot of backup that just happens now because of the cloud. I know it's not an end-all be-all and whatnot, but it would have to be a pretty overarching attack.
The cloud. The cloud chooses who will go and who will stay. Now you have cloud computing as well, which is
Yes.
kind of exciting.
That's always been a thing, right?
Yeah, I'm not big on outsourcing like the power to other places, or the
Why
like
not?
the computing power. Because if I'm like if I'm working on my own system, I'd rather it be local and self-contained. I don't mind sending like unimportant files to places, but I really do like keeping most of my stuff close.
Well, I mean, for instance, I can edit video on my Chromebook laptop with the YouTube video editor, which is 100% cloud-based video editing. It's not nearly as robust as something like Premiere.
Oh, I just don't like. I don't ever want to be dependent on other people's stuff that could be yanked out at any moment.
Well, I understand that, but I'm saying there's a lot of benefits. It lets much lower-powered devices do much higher-powered things. I think that's cool. Maybe I'm wrong.
And I do think it's cool. It allows people like in parts of the world that they don't have powerful computers, like, or just young people who don't have like Premiere and all that to do that sort of stuff. But for me personally, I want it to be able to be done on my system. So I think that it's both good. I think it's mostly good, but I'm still going to use my own computer whenever I can.
It's about
There's
choice.
also the question of things that you're only going to need to do once, or if you like, I'm only going to need a lot of computing power on this day, right? Because I'm, like for instance, when on the launch, this isn't computing power, but about like bandwidth.
starting to sound like season 2 of *Halt and Catch Fire*.
People, season 3's out, right?
Yeah, I haven't started yet. I got a couple of good shows in the pike that I'm.
I caught it up on Netflix, but I haven't like recorded the season 3 stuff, which I'm kind of. I guess I can go on AMC website because a lot of TV networks now have like the backlog of their stuff
in the cloud.
in the cloud. Yeah,
The cloud.
it was actually really cool because somebody asked me about where they could watch. They're like, I missed the Z Nation episode. I said, well, if you sign in with your account on Sci-Fi, you can check it out there. It's very neat that they do that stuff now.
Yeah. I also like how you can split it like is it NASA, I think? Or SETI? You can sign up to have like part of your processor if you're not using your computer, but it's on sort of be outsourced to SETI.
Yeah, I've seen
just
that.
have,
I had mine set up to work with this. It was folding proteins for cancer research.
Something, yeah, there's a couple different like incredibly complex programs where you can become part of like the Hive computer that they're using, which is really cool sounding.
And it's like whenever they start talking about how many hours of computational time they've saved by having these outsourced programs, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we've got a supercomputer, but just from the sheer volume of these 5,000 other computers people are using to help us, you've saved us like 2 million hours.
Yeah.
Where'd he go? Where'd he go?
Well, that time doesn't
It's on
really go
fire
anywhere,
somewhere.
Al. It's when he says saved, he doesn't mean the time went somewhere. No.
Stupid creeper or not creeper? Enderman.
Man, that was way funnier. I was too distracted.
I got you.
That was pretty good. I'll give you that.
I didn't. The timing was
okay.
off too because yeah. Also, people are popping in and out. I think my Skype is a little wonky. Full words
Oh,
are
were you
missing.
guys? I was gonna say I'm not having a problem hearing either of you. So.
Yeah, I haven't
No,
had
it's-
any issues yet.
Crystal clear. Just one word here and there will drop off. I thought it was because I was coughing, but now I realize it's not the coughing.
Okay, well, weirdly enough, and nobody's gonna hear it in the recording, but as you said, a word drops out here or there. Oh, one of your words dropped out.
Yeah,
Dun,
that
dun,
did happen
dun.
for me as well.
Dun 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 dun. That famous.
That's
score
why we
from-
do local recording.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Remember back when we we just recorded like the one side of a Skype call?
No, I try not to. Considering what we do with the audio now, I'm just like, what the hell? Did we ever do that when we were full time?
No, I don't think so.
I'm trying to remember. You guys used to send me the podcast because I was the audio guy. Man, woo, memories.
We got better. We continue to learn.
We do. We don't get any
There's
funnier.
podcasts I listen
unfortunately.
to from like other people that still do that, and they're like relatively bigger Bigger than us, I would say.
And again, my joke gets
We're
buried.
just like,
It's terrible.
just
This is a
record this over the phone.
non-joke block.
Al is in a serious mood. It's too early in the day. He doesn't have the Friday afternoon chill going on.
If our energy is different, please let us know. We're recording this at a brand new time. All kinds of different...
Joe doesn't like for us to obsess about energy, except for when it's his.
No, I actually use that word on purpose to mock you, but... Yeah.
Oh,
No. My bladder's in a
I think
different
this
place.
has been a fine dirt block.
My caffeine's in a different place. It's very interesting to know what that does to...
That's over here on the left side of my desk, like it always is.
You keep your bladder on your desk?
No, my caffeine.
Come on! That one doesn't get a laugh? Jeez.
You're like stacking a bad joke on top of a bad joke. No, it doesn't get a laugh.
Yeah, that's all we...
I'm more
like
of
our
a
business
professional
plan,
than you
Al.
guys, though. I just use a catheter.
Wait, to put it in or out? Your bladder? Or, now you're mixing... Wow. That could be either way.
All right, yeah, no, Tony's joke is bad now. Tony, that was a bad joke. We're not gonna laugh at that joke. Everybody laugh at Joe's joke about my bladder being on my desk.
Like, piling onto bad jokes is like... Ooh, man. If we cut that out, it'll just be like, welcome to the Dirt Block. See you next week.
This is the part of the dirt block where we criticize each other's humor. Nobody ever makes
Yeah,
a joke
seriously.
again, and I'm just singing songs the whole time.
We bring up Venn
The
diagrams.
hills are alive
Scathingly emotional
with
block.
the sound of Batman.
That one I recognize. That was not Batman. That was
Something about Nazi nuns.
Hey, he said it too, and I can't remember it. That's where I'm at. Sound of music. Sound of
who
music.
said
Sound of
it?
music. Sound of music. You said it.
No, I didn't.
No.
No.
Oh, Sound of Music. Sound of Music.
Sound of music.
Right?
Sound of music. No, you're right. I just didn't say it. I don't know
I
what
could have
you got.
sworn you said the word Sound of Music somewhere in there. That'll be interesting. Boy, what that or I'm losing it. Where are we at on this dirt block? Because I think I'm losing my mind.
I'm on the pier.
There's a pier? Oh, I see you.
Yeah.
I don't have a... Oh, the arrows. It's really been hurting me this game.
Where are you at?
I don't even
Would
know.
you
I'm
like some
somewhere
arrows?
off where the dirt
I
is.
can't get. Can I get that sheep? Go get the sheep. Oh! I killed him! Oh no!
Did you kill the yellow sheep that I've been pushing
I
out of
didn't
the way
know-
for
I thought
30
it was
episodes?
Joe. I mean, I didn't think it was Joe because I said it was a sheep.
Yeah, what the hell?
That was a lie, but still.
Wait,
I
what?
have one bow, and I never kill anything in one shot.
Great. You murdered the sheep on the dirt block?
That was like the unofficial mascot of the dirt block.
Agreed.
All right, Al, you got to make a sign.
Uh,
You
Oh.
kill the chickens on the ledge too, Al? You want to destroy hope as well?
where is that?
It's over by Tony.
I don't know if I can hit it from here. It's too far
Where
away.
are you, by the way? What kind of shot was that?
It was on the pier, so I was down
I
by
don't
the
know what
farms.
the pier is. What's the pier?
You see the farms that John Jones made on the catwalk, whatever it is.
Okay, yes. We don't actually
The
have a term
board-
for
the-
that. Also, John Jones seeded the farms. Whoa, there's a lot of skeletons!
Ah, the skeleton broke my shield. Why?
Where's the skeleton?
There's
There's a
violence.
zombie. Hi, zombie.
There's violence everywhere.
Oh man, shields make all the difference. I always forget that. I would be so dead if that was just armor against the 8,000 skeletons that are hitting me right now.
I wish there was a
Come on
shield
down here.
bash option.
There's the axe. You can bash their
Kill
shields.
'em.
It's a little weird.
Wow, I'm bad.
But you killed that
That zombie,
sheep,
like-
didn't you? Good enough to kill the sheep. We all
Albert
loved.
Bird, professional
Almost killed that
Minecrafter.
chicken. We could get these arrows back.
Where are? Oh, there you are.
And so we end another day on the dirt block with a sunrise. We begin another day. We end a.
What?
Yeah, the video's over. Everybody go home. You're drunk. The sun's coming up.
Al, give me your bullet. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Also, I like calling that the pier now that I know what you're talking about. Ah, you caught me at Max Dirt too. Max Dirt. He's the dirt. The dirt you like to touch. But you mustn't touch